Welcome everybody to the Sunset Flip Wrestling Podcast, your home for all wrestling, everything wrestling. Well, fellas, it's been a while, been all 20 minutes, and now we're back for part 2 of our busy WrestleMania weekend. First and foremost, if you haven't heard the first episode, I want to shout out to everybody who is out in the military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, wherever you may be. What you guys do is greatly appreciated through and through. Your efforts never goes unnoticed, and we appreciate everything you do for protecting our country and taking care of us day by day.
Yeah, no, again, thanks to all the veterans, willing to sacrifice themselves for us and providing service to the country. So it's greatly appreciated.
Agreed.
It doesn't go unnoticed.
So for you guys to do what you do, the hard laboring stuff, so I can go to war every day in Call of Duty and act like we're serving the country as well. So we appreciate you guys for doing all the hard work and protecting us day by day, because the way the world is today, we greatly need it. So we thank you guys wholeheartedly.
Great.
So as we reach to part 2,
yeah, part 2,
double and nothing.
A lot of wrestling this weekend, man. A lot of wrestling.
This is a jam-packed weekend, but now we're in the back. We're in the back 9 here, so let's get right into it. It's how many matches? 11 matches.
It was a lot. There was 2 in the buy-in, and I think maybe
too many.
Too many. There was 2 in the buy-in, and I think it was like 11 on the card. So
lucky number 13.
It was a lot. It was a lot of matches.
That's too much. I think that's too much for any pay-per-view, to be honest.
Yeah, well, there's definitely a couple of matches here that they could have like cut out, and it wouldn't affect the pay-per-view, right? Like for example, like Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta, we saw that not too long ago, like 3 weeks ago. It didn't need to be on the card. And there's probably like another match there that you could have waited. Maybe the Undisputed Trios. I mean, like there were matches here that it didn't make sense.
Jericho. All I gotta say.
There were a couple of matches here that it didn't make sense.
I can't wait to get to that match. By the way,
storyline, it was rushed, but overall the quality of matches in this pay-per-view, they were fantastic. I'm not gonna. It was a fantastic event. This is the event that AEW needed, as you know, they were struggling with ratings.
Right.
And now, with returns, right, with this type of wrestling, hopefully you can see those ratings shift again upward. And again, they needed it and they executed it to perfection. So
before we get into it, I gotta jump in and ask another question. What's your problem with our FTW World Champion Chris Jericho?
Oh no,
the learning tree. Before you guys, I want to know. You had an issue last episode with Chris. With I'm gonna say Chris Dunn, Kevin Dunn, right?
It's the book. It's the book.
Cameraman.
It's the
What's
booking.
wrong with the GOAT, Chris Jericho?
It's the booking. Like I said, it's been a problem at AEW for a minute.
I'm talking about Chris Jericho. I'm talking about the booking. We all know the booking sucks.
Yeah, that's part of the problem, and they're pushing Jericho down everybody's throats, and I don't think the fans are getting tired of it. And also, he has a little bit of controversy, which we don't know if it's true or not.
So it's still up in the air. But you don't like Jericho? Are you sick of Jericho? You're not invested in the learning tree.
I don't think he should be champion.
I agree. I'm with you on the same. I'm just fucking with
you. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll start. Yeah, we'll start in with the buy-in. Just two matches. We had Deonna Purrazzo defeating Thunder Rosa, solid match, and then the Acclaim defeating Cage of Agony.
Shout out to Deonna.
Yeah. In those 2 matches, again, a couple of matches. I thought, if anything, Deonna Purrazzo versus Thunder Rosa should have been on the card and not Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta, but that's just my opinion. That's just one man's opinion. However, we do kick the event off with a banger for the International Championship. Will Ospreay defeating Roderick Strong to become the new International Champion.
This was a fun match. This was like it gave a nice debut. I don't want to call it debut for Ospreay because he's been around or as is, but like to give him a belt, his first PLE, his first pay-per-view, it was a well-deserved match and well-deserved ovation from at the end.
Agreed.
I think, yeah, to be his first championship opportunity, I think one could assume, oh yeah, let's put him in the main event right away for the world champion. No, there's layers to this. So, having him capture the international championship was the right call in the match. However, there was some scary spots. There was one spot where they had him, Undisputed Kingdom had him in the Doomsday device, and he landed like on his head, and I thought, oh my god, he broke his neck. Like there was just spots in the match, and then the hesitation of Ospreay not wanting to use the Tiger Driver 91, but ultimately then using the finisher to pick up the victory, in which was a great opener. Very fun match.
I think he's just him being able to, like, we spoke about this at the end of the night, and I asked you, was well, would Will Ospreay have done well the way he's doing now, the way he's loved and enjoyed his skill set? Would he have been viewed the same way in WWE? You said absolutely, but I think AEW, how you said, I thought I agree with you. AEW lets him be him. WWE would kind of had to handcuff him a bit because he's so out in that outward out that direction. So it's like he would have been like held back a little bit in WWE. AEW could be himself. He could do what he does.
Well,
in Japan.
yeah, I mean, listen, there's a reason why Ospreay signed with AEW, right? He betted on himself, right? Like another person that I'm going to mention in a couple of minutes. But in regards to Will Ospreay, he signed with AEW because AEW obviously not only gave him the bag, but it allows him to wrestle to his full ability, right?
He could also go home and wrestle.
And that's why he's been kind of critical. I don't want to say critical, but he has made comments on WWE's usage of Ricochet, because him and Ricochet have very similar in-ring styles, right? So that's why he was like, "Oh, like I'm surprised," or in other words, that WWE has handled Ricochet the way he's been handled right now, as opposed to Will Ospreay, where he's able to use all of his in-ring abilities without anybody breathing down his neck saying, oh, change this move or change this move set, or you know what I'm saying. So but him defeating Roderick Strong was the right call. Very fun match. And then what happened afterwards was very interesting. Before we get to that, the fact that Undisputed Kingdom got involved in that match, right? And Wardlow was set to give Ospreay a power bomb, and he was there like he didn't care. Like when the ref kicked them all out, like he basically shrugged. So that's something to look out for, as he's it seems like he's distancing himself from the Undisputed Kingdom.
But I feel like that's the thing with him. He always, any group or faction he's with, he always just does that. So it's sort of like a give me with him, so it's sort of not really a new layer to his character. It's sort of like, okay, he's gonna leave them. We already know this is happening.
Right.
He's done it before.
And once Will Ospreay picks up the victory for the opening match, Adam Cole comes down to the ring to cut a promo. Obviously, pulls out the Devil's Mask. Fans already chanting MJF, sensing that something is coming. And sure enough, MJF makes his long-awaited return to AEW.
In a Triple H-esque attire.
Yeah. I think, when you saw that promo, that return, there was like a lot of wrestlers that he kind of you could say paid homage to or took a page out of their book. When it comes to appearance wise, yeah, it looked like Triple H's return from, what was it, 2002?
When he had the quad injury?
The quad injury, right? The promo, it kind of gave you like a Steve Austin-esque promo, right? And then obviously him elbowing and kicking the mask was Ric Flair, right? So you had all these things build up into one. Adam Cole thought, he was going to get a simple hug and everything was going to be all good. And sure enough, he did get that hug, but he also got a kick to the nuts. He got a kick to the nuts, and then what was a brain buster?
He basically punches his nuts into oblivion and just bashes his brains in.
Yeah, and MJF he can do a hell of a promo, and it's funny because one of the users on our TikTok, when I posted that segment, they put yawn, and honestly there's nothing to yawn about that. Like, it was actually an electrifying moment, right? And especially when MJF, we all knew he wasn't going to WWE. I've said this from time to time. He will stick and resign with AEW.
And in wrestling, we know there's a lot of trolls out there. So many. So I mean, the people that put those kind of comments and do those kind of things, get people's streams taken down, do that stuff. At the end of the day, I say it like one streamer said, we're all wrestling fans out here. There's no need for that. Just you can have your opinions, but don't like troll people and put people down and do stuff like that. We're all wrestling fans at the end of the day. We enjoy the product we see, whether we agree or disagree with things. So I will say that too.
Yeah, I won't do it again. My bad, Soto.
but yeah, MJF pretty much sums up the promo by showing a tat which says "Bet on yourself" with a chip, and it's the AEW logo saying
that was a bit too much for me, but I'm not the one getting paid to wrestle.
And he also took a shot at Vince, which is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean listen, we know that WWE lives rent free in AEW. So it's not surprising that he mentioned
and the rent was due on Sunday.
I mean, there was a lot going on there.
Vince doesn't have anything to do with any wrestling.
Vince will catch strays until the day he dies, and even then, that won't stop.
Yeah.
And that's where everything is.
I feel like you can't watch an AEW episode or live event without a WWE mention.
Yeah.
Right. So, but overall, it was a very cool moment. MJF back in AEW, and honestly, that's a big win for AEW because they need it. I mean, as I mentioned before, like, their ratings have been taking a hit for the past couple of weeks, so maybe this can help them ratings wise. I'm not going to say it's going to push them to like 1 million. There's still a long ways to go, but like, this event overall, it felt like the earlier days of AEW. It was very enjoyable, and it was a strong segment. So
MJF
well executed.
Homegrown stars. So like, I think that's the problem with AEW. They need to push their homegrown stars. I get that you got a lot of veterans you signed from other companies or been around, but I think in order for AEW to grow, like you said, and get over the 1 million mark, push the guys that you have that are original from your company. And I
think if he's the face and he's the head of the snake when it comes to it, I think it'll be just fine.
Yep,
I agree.
We move on to the Undisputed Trios Championship match. The Bang Bang Gang defeating Death Triangle thanks to the involvement of the returning Juice Robinson.
The Bang Bang Gang. I mean, this is cool. Like, shout out to Juice being back. He definitely played a big part in making that match more enjoyable. It was okay. I think Juice showing up at the end to give
there was really no crowd reaction to that match. So yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing I can really take out of that.
I mean,
Juice made it better.
I mean, the reaction is because, like, again, there was no full story or storyline behind this match. It was just put together relatively quick.
Right.
Obviously, the best part of this match is just, the Lucha Bros and their offense, their fast-paced, offense, right?
Yeah.
And then Juice Robinson coming in out of nowhere, knocking out Pac, and the Bang Bang Gang take advantage. So
you don't want to say the Bang Bang Gang.
for me it's like, listen, for me, Jay White is not a trios person.
Wasn't it Bullet Club Gold? Like, I feel like they changed their name so much time.
I feel like Juice Robinson should take Jay White's spot, right, as in the trios champion, and have Jay White focus on a singles title. I've been saying that for the longest. And
what about going after Will Ospreay? Remember, they had that interaction backstage.
Yeah, I mean, listen, going after Will Ospreay, going after I can't.
We'll see. We'll see.
Going after the world
Big Bro,
championship.
though.
I mean,
Yeah.
going after Swerve. You know.
Forbidden Door will probably give you a good telling tale about what's going to happen there.
Yeah. Next on the card we have the AEW Women's World Championship. Timeless Tony Storm defeating Serena Deeb.
This was a fun match. I think we all can agree that we knew Tony was going to win. I think for me personally, I think her reign has been probably out of all the women in the major wrestling companies, I think Tony Storm might have the best run going right now. It's been
Yeah,
immaculate.
absolutely.
I've not seen anything better than Tony Storm. Not saying everybody else has not been good. I think Tony Storm, as an individual, has done the best with her run.
So
anybody else?
My question is, she's had a long run. Who do we think would defeat Tony Storm's run at some point?
It's going to be Mariah May.
You think so?
It's going to be her closest ally.
And I mean, isn't that typical of those wrestling situations?
That's that's the direction I'm going with, because in that match we saw a crack between Luther and Mariah May. Mariah May wanted to throw in the towel. Just same thing that Tony Storm did when she wrestled Serena Deeb. So Mariah May wanted to do that, and Luther, they're kind of like tuggling, with the white towel,
right?
And it wasn't thrown. But that's, I think, a small crack that should not be ignored. I think Mariah May is going to win the Owens Cup. And I think she is going to face Tony Storm down the line. I mean, I feel like the betrayal is coming. It's a matter of when.
Will that be at Wembley?
Possibly. Listen, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't be mad at that match. It would be a big match, because the way they've been booking Mariah May is a star, right? A star in the making. So, but again, the whole situation, right, with the whole, throwing in the towel, should not be ignored. And I feel like for the next couple of weeks, we're going to start seeing more cracks.
I think there's one other name too that eventually will come back, and it's going to be Jamie Hayter too. Don't forget, one of her last matches was against Tony Storm. So
I mean, she's been out for about a year now,
almost a year.
Yeah, so serious injury. So, I mean, her, Britt Baker, right?
But when Britt Baker show up, the Lord will never know. Only time will tell.
But I feel like, it's gonna eventually be Mariah May versus Tony Storm.
Yeah.
Then we got Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta, which, again, I don't know why we got this match when we got this match 3 weeks ago.
Agreed.
The only thing that you can take out of this match was that Orange Cassidy wasn't himself, right? He was more aggressive, right? And that's due to, him being kind of partnered up or not officially, but kind of partnered up with Don Callis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that after Orange Cassidy picked up the victory, Beretta just like stormed out, right?
He said, "I'm done. I'm out of here." And
I'm done. I'm out here. And wanted no parts and whatnot.
Is he gone? Is this it for Trent Beretta?
No. I think it's gonna. We're just gonna have to wait and see what's in store. Because I don't know. I just don't see what direction is there for Trent Beretta,
Right.
And again, this match, it was a long pay-per-view. I felt like this match, you could have saved it for a Dynamite. But I get AEW, they want to showcase all their superstars, but it's like
there's a
lot of matches.
He wants pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's a lot of matches. Then we have Henry's favorite match, the FTW Championship match. Chris Jericho defeating Shibata and Hook.
Why, Henry? Why do you hate the FTW Heavyweight Champion, Chris Jericho?
I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the belt.
Juice Effect himself.
And I would say AEW has a table problem because it seems like they can never get the table.
I even tweeted about it. I was like, that table's on steroids.
Yeah,
it's like every time they want to crash into the table, that shit never breaks.
Listen, there was another match that had a table in it, and the table almost impaled. Was it Big Bill?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That was crazy too.
So Henry, what's the problem with Chris Jericho?
I
You
just
know,
didn't
you
like.
know what
I
a
don't.
tree does? The tree gives life.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Chris
God.
Jericho gives life to AEW.
All right,
the
this match.
FCW championship.
This match was terribly booked and wasn't a good one. Let's go to the next match. Next match, please.
This
Damn,
was
so-
low-key a snooze fest.
So quick.
Shout out to Hook though.
No, I mean this match it wasn't the best.
It
But
wasn't
it
terrible.
had-
It wasn't the best. It was a snooze.
Yo,
Whoever
the
gave
fact
it a 4.5 out of 5 is ridiculous.
Who did that?
they were
Who told
probably
you?
Somebody did. I
They
gotta
were
find
out
it.
drinking. They were probably out drinking. But
I gotta find the post. There was somebody gave
Shibata and Hook throwing dice at Jericho. I was like, ooh, that's gotta hurt.
Fucking
And then Hook sending Big Bill, suplexing Big Bill through a table.
that was fun. It was a good spot.
Yeah. I wonder what's next for Chris Jericho though. I mean, all right. Here's my problem with Chris Jericho. I feel like every 3 or 4 months, Chris Jericho has this new gimmick. Right? It's either, Lionheart, or in this case, the Learning Tree, or it's like, look, listen, he's a legend, and I have all the respect in the world for Chris Jericho.
He's running.
He is one of the
A
goats.
lot of options, personalities to create.
That's that. Yep.
His time is coming up soon. It's just
Listen, the Learning Tree sounds like a reading fucking center for books. Okay.
don't get mad because you're not part of the Learning Tree, bro. Like you,
And it seems like Chris Jericho hired himself a bounty hunter because due to the involvement of Brian Keith, he was able to retain the FTW championship.
Yep.
So,
Has
yeah,
been-
I thought it was really interesting that the fact that he did the finisher on Hook, and he could have pinned Hook right there, but instead he pinned Shibata.
or
So,
Shibata. Next.
Shibata's talented too, which is crazy.
yeah.
Well, guess what? He got buried for Jericho.
Then we have John Moxley defeating Kashka, which it was a, I don't know, it was kind of like a regular brawling match. I mean that's another match.
It was a fun match. It was better than the match previous. But
yeah, I mean this was another match that it didn't really need to be on the card, even though both guys are really talented. And Moxley came in the match injured, obviously because of his arm.
he took a bad drop. That was tough.
Yeah,
He
he landed on his shoulder, right
He
on
la-
the
he
apron.
landed flat, but the show's already back. So just like you could tell he either thrashed it or hyperextended it. It looked bad. I showed you the screenshot. It was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
The Sheshka is a show in the making, and they keep making him lose, and it pisses me off. I don't know why.
He really is talented, but I think the things that he has said recently is probably the reason why he's in the doghouse.
Yeah, that's
that he's never enjoyed AEW, right? Something along those lines.
Oh well, be on the lookout. WWE down.
no, he's gonna be in the shitter for a while, so that's not him.
Yeah, and then we know that Moxley has a title defense early next month, and then should he remain champion, I'm pretty sure he will be in the main event for Forbidden Door, which takes place at the end of next month, right? End of June.
It's the IWGP title that Moxley has.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
They're still trying to figure out who he's going to defend it against.
Fuck it.
Yeah, isn't there? There's going to be like a gauntlet, right?
Yeah, but it's going to have a lot of surprise wrestlers in it. They're saying so. We'll see.
Yeah,
RVD baby. No jumps. All right, cool.
No, I think it's going to be
mean,
wrestlers from New Japan Pro side that we haven't seen on the States yet. So it's going to be interesting.
That'll be something.
Yeah. We move on to a very, very exciting match that I think a lot of people enjoyed, and to my surprise, I enjoyed it a lot. And it was the TNT Championship match. Adam Copeland defeating Malachi Black to retain the championship.
Soto said that with such a fucking poker face. He was listen to the fans.
Because Soto knows what the results of Malachi
Soto,
Black.
that's even that. Soto was watching. I was watching the match at Soto's house. Soto was so pissed. Malachi Black loses again. and the vitriol and the anger grows week by week. Watching Malachi Black get quality matches, it's like he's not even getting shitty matches and losing shitty matches. This is a great match. This is probably out of the 13 matches, probably top 5 of the night. But the fact that Malachi Black loses again, he got his group in again.
Shit hurts
Only
my heart.
to lose to a legend. Shout out to Gangrel to show up to ruin Malachi Black's thing again. And it's like, well, you know what? Another L for Malachi Black. And another moment so sitting there pissed off because Malachi Black's being unused, underutilized again. But shout out to Edge.
I'm telling you, like
winning.
once Edge defeated Malachi Black, you know the song "Hello Darkness."
Yeah.
That song went through my mind for a sec.
I will say
it was a fun match. It just ended being
that spot where Adam Copeland jumps off the cage. Was that the spot that he was supposed to do? Was it supposed to be an elbow drop, or was it supposed to be a
okay? So let me tell you
on that. I told so say there's no.
So let me tell you when we were watching it and the way he went down, I could have sworn on everything. I was like, he broke both of his legs.
I'm like, why'd you?
Because he just like dropped straight down, and then B was like, "Oh, was that an elbow drop?" And I was just like, "Bro, I don't know what the hell that was. All I know is like he landed on his feet."
And then 5 seconds later, you hear the announce table. What an atomic elbow drop by Adam Copeland. I'm like, I don't think he was supposed to do that elbow drop.
I don't know what the hell he was supposed to do, but I was just like, "What the hell is like? Is his legs all right?" Like,
yeah.
Shout
out to Gangrel, man. That's all I gotta say.
This was a chaotic match. I mean, from start to finish. I think Malachi Black was bleeding within the first like 2 minutes of the match.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, it's not surprising because you know it was a barbed wire steel cage match, and it had every weapon you could possibly think of. So, but yeah, again, the biggest swerve was Buddy Murphy, right, and Brody King. Seemingly that like it looked like they were going to align themselves with Adam Copeland and turn on Malachi Black, but swerve and they actually did attack Adam Copeland, and then as the attack continued inside the ring, lights turn red, creepy music in the back, and then all of a sudden Gangrel comes out, and then I loved Adam Copeland's brood entrance, right? Brutish entrance, and then I just told B, I was like, imagine if Gangrel like makes an appearance.
I was like, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, Gangrel is not one. And I said before, Adam. So as he was Edge before he left and became Adam Copeland at AEW, he came out. He won before Christian went over. He wanted to have a brood reunion for like a small run. So he wanted Beth. He wanted his wife Beth to be involved. He wanted him, Christian, Beth, and Gangrel to join up together. And WWE goes, that would never work in this realm, this era. Like that's me keeping the past. It was too explicit. It was something along with being too explicit, too out of the norm.
Vince said no. That's what it was.
But this is even before Vince even.
Yeah, Vince shot like every idea. Well, every possible idea that Edge like had, because Edge was really pushing for it. Vince just shut it down. So
he wanted the Brood versus Judgment Day to go down.
So that's why I kind of said, "Oh, imagine if Gangrel shows up."
I'm like, why not?
Because Tony Khan would be open to it. I know Tony Khan would be open to the idea, and to be honest with you, for that 4 or 5 minute appearance that he was there, it was dope.
Yeah.
Again, it took you back. It took you back to the old time. It
was crazy though. I think he did it on Brody King, I think is what it was. Who it was?
What?
It was just some monster fucking DDT.
Yeah.
But it was fun. You give something the fans could enjoy, and you were able to turn back the clock for somebody who decided to leave where he wanted to be to go elsewhere. So he wanted to keep us. You gave him a shot. Okay, what do you want to do to make it better? And I guarantee you the wrestlers loved it. All 5 of them loved it. So it's like, why not? It was perfect.
Yeah. We move on to another championship change. The TBS championship, Mercedes Monet defeating Willow Nightingale.
This one was, to me, I told Soto, this was a obvious Monet win.
Yeah,
And Soto said he was like, no, I think Willow needs his win more than anything. And then 5 minutes of the match, and Soto goes, yeah, Mercedes.
I said that. I was like, Nightingale needs his victory. But then again, at the same time, I said, there's no way in hell Mercedes Monet is losing in her debut match. There's just no way.
It makes absolutely zero sense. And then finals went by, so I was like, yeah.
And it sucks because Willow Nightingale only had the title for like, what, about a month? And I don't think she had any title defenses.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Where she wrestled.
So it was like, I mean, I'm happy that she got the belt, but I think it should have been a more meaningful run. And even though in defeat, Nightingale did look strong, doing a gut wrench power bomb right to Mercedes Monet on the apron. And then at the end too, if it wasn't for a distraction by Chris Statlander and Stokely, she would have pinned Mercedes Monet. She had her beat.
And then got kicked to the side as Statlander and Stokely are now an item now.
Yeah. So after the match, I don't know if you guys would say it was a shocking betrayal. I think to some people it was. As you know, Statlander and Stokely are arguing of who cost Nightingale the match. Statlander pushes Stokely, and as she's helping Nightingale back to the stage area, she attacks Nightingale, setting up Nightingale's next feud, which is going to be Statlander and Nightingale. It seems like it was all a plan between Statlander and Stokely. So I think this is only going to help Nightingale, because I feel like Nightingale's stock has risen tremendously, the past couple of weeks. So I'm happy for her, and this is going to be a good feud. This is going to be a feud based on betrayal, and we'll see where that leads to. And in terms of Mercedes Monet, where do you think she's? Who do you think she's going to face next?
Whoever at this point, but it's not even about that. So I asked you the question, and you kind of agree with me, Henry. I want to ask you the same thing. As she starts her, which probably be a lengthy reign as champ, as we all can agree, right? She's not given the belt for a long time. Do you notice that she has not changed since she left NXT?
Change in what sense?
Her personality, her character has stayed the same when she left NXT to be on the main roster for WWE, right? She leaves, goes does indie work, stayed the same. Goes to New Japan, stays the same. And now she's at AEW, and now it's a fully converted name, right, to CEO Mercedes Monet. And her character and personality has stayed the exact mannerisms, the same gimmick, the same.
Well, she had no choice to change it, because I think the old song that she had, they weren't going to let her use it, so that's why she changed the CEO.
But you can still change how you're gonna go about your business. She comes out how she did when she left. After her and Bayley took it off and take over, she has not changed her gimmick in what, 10 years, 9 years.
And the thing is, I don't think she really had to change her gimmick. I think the only thing that she needs to improve on are her mic skills. That's it.
Nothing else has been improved by her. It's just
Mercedes Monet is the complete package, except for those mic skills. As long as she gets them down packed,
she's basically the female version.
Because the way she was selling those moves, the way again she got power bombed on the apron and then a pounce by Nightingale. Like, she sold that, and she's tremendous on the ring. She's pound for pound one of the best, if not the best. She's in that conversation in ring wise. Now, mic wise, there needs to be work there,
Right.
But that's always been an issue. It's always been an issue with her, even in WWE. So I mean, but her gimmick, it hasn't changed. Maybe it tweaked a little bit, but John Cena did the same thing. So in a sense, her and John Cena sort of have the same parallels when it comes to their gimmick. They really don't change. I mean, John Cena never went heel, in God knows how long, but Mercedes has when she was in
Yeah.
WWE. But that's the only difference. But besides that, yeah, their careers are sort of parallel. If you think about it, it comes to sort of having the same character for a long time and being successful with it with minor tweaks. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Then we have the AEW World Championship match, Swerve Strickland defeating Christian Cage.
Banger of a match. Love it top to bottom.
It was. It
I
certainly
named it.
was. I think it was a pretty entertaining match. The only thing is the crowd was, in my opinion, was a little dead for this one because of how late this match was, right?
I think it was like what 10, almost 10:45 when this match started.
Nah, it had to be like I don't know, maybe
Almost,
later than that.
Like 11 something, like middle, like early, like or just
Later
past
than
11.
that. It's just that at that point, like even myself, I was like, damn, I'm drained. I was like, I'm tired, you know. But overall, like again, Cage is the perfect villain to go up against Strickland, and had tremendous chemistry. Really fun match.
Yeah, Henry, how do you feel about of all the bullshit that happened between Christian Cage and Nick Wayne? How do you feel about Nick Wayne being called Christian? Look, Christian goes, "Yo, you're my son. That's my son right there."
Yeah, I don't know. I like the father thing. The jokes are funny at first, but I think it got a little played out to me a little bit too. I think he overused it and
That's
everything else,
so
in my
funny.
opinion. My opinion, because
Yeah.
Christian,
And then it was only a moment. I mean, a matter of time since Nick Wayne, Killswitch, and Mother Wayne got ejected. At some point, when you do too many interferences, you get to be a little sloppy, and that's exactly what happened. They got caught, and the finish, man, the finish. Where he does these what's it called, the swerve stomp, and then house call. I love that move, the house call, that kick.
Oh yeah,
beautiful. So now where do things go from here? Like, what happens to Christian? What happens to Swerve Strickland?
Swerve moves on to the next opponent. Who it may be, we have until Forbidden Door to find out. Like Henry said, you're going to see a multitude of New Japan superstars, whether it's for the FCW championship or for any other belt, the international championship, whatever it is. If they're due for those two, they'll definitely do it for the AEW World Championship. So it may be somebody out there who's done a little bit of both. But we shall see. As for Christian Cage, I don't know. I don't know what the move's going to be for him. Do you run it back? You could run it back, which is perfectly fine, but you're still pushing by the fact that you may not have anybody going forward. And when do you figure out to say, hey, Nick Wayne, you're going to betray your dad and go be something yourself? You know what I mean? Like, there's just, you got to wait and see on what you do booking wise. As Henry says all the time, AEW is the best booker in the world. So we're gonna. I can't say it. AEW booking is fucking terrible. You don't know what they're gonna do at some point. As long as they don't mess up Swerve Strickland, they'll be fine. You have Lash to work with. If you mess up the number one guy, you're in trouble.
I don't have high hopes.
You gonna mess up Swerve?
Well,
I hope not.
I'll be honest with you.
That's it. It's over.
Up until this match, the way that Swerve has been handled, I haven't been a fan of.
It's been dog shit.
So you think they already ruined? They think you already ruined Swerve?
I don't know. Possibly. I mean, I knew he was going to win this match.
I think they did sabotage. I'm not thinking he's completely ruined. I think it could be like a redemption thing, but having him constantly get beat down and do all this bullshit hurts character development. Tony Khan knows better. He's a fucking fan just like us. Like, get it to fucking
stop fanning and be a businessman and do the right things.
Just get it together. That's all I'm asking.
And then we have the main event. The Elite defeating Team AEW. I been watching wrestling since, I would say, 97, 98. This is probably
the most wildest shit
wildest shit I've ever seen.
I've been watching it since 92, 93, so yeah.
Yeah, you
The
old as
f-
shit.
You know, obviously the craziest part was Darby Allin setting Jack Perry on fire.
I told you that cold tub was not water. That was fucking gasoline.
If it was gas, he would have been dead.
Yeah, that was nuts.
That was a
And
wild
then
spot.
and then you know what makes it even wilder? Like the end,
hung him.
they hung Darby Allin from his legs, and everybody's just beating the shit out of each other, and Darby's just hanging in there. I'm like,
For
do they
10,
not
15 minutes.
know there's a human being hanging, or
And
Some
Laura
wild
knows
shit.
to this day, he still might be. Imagine if they start AEW, he's still there.
yo. So all right, so let's break this match down. The fact that they were in the beginning of the match, they were playing everybody's different music. The fact that Danielson
Lasted the longest.
took the mic and said, "Cut this shit off." That shit was hilarious.
Play some real music.
And then he said to play the greatest theme song. And then once the final countdown hit, I was hyped. I was hyped. To be honest with you, I was awake again. I was like, oh yeah. It got my blood pumping. I was like, oh man.
And by the way, those Reeboks you must have, them shits was ass.
Yo,
look at our new Reebok shoes. Look, we got.
I'm not gonna lie. I might want to cop them just to have them.
Yeah, don't wear them shits.
And the fact, as the song was going, and the fine, like all in Darby Allin hit a coffin drop, right? Off the arena, the gate, from the crowd. Like there was just everything.
And they hit him
There's
with
so much
box truck.
And what was they used everything. They used a thumbtack sleeve. They use a thumbtack shoe. They use exploding chairs.
The chair was dope. That was great.
Darby Allin's flamethrower. What else? I know I'm missing something.
You name it, they used it.
Yeah. I mean, it was just insanity. And
it's anarchy, basically, the name of the match.
Yeah, you know what? And I loved every bit of, obviously, no-brainer match of the night.
I was gonna say, was this?
And it was the very last match. So this match, it started like around almost midnight. I think I would say, right?
Probably like 11:30, 11:40. Actually, no, it might just have been on like 11:45.
Like 11:50, 11.
Yeah, like 12:15. It was a good full half hour.
Right.
Match. It was filled. So you're absolutely right.
But just the fact that there were so many moments within one match, memorable moments. That's key for AEW.
Yeah.
But I think again, what we said a couple of weeks ago, I think the main focal point of all this is to create a bigger star, and I think that's what they kind of did by focusing on Jack Perry. This was all in a focal point in order to have Jack Perry look like a bigger star, and him picking up the victory, hitting the running knee on Bryan Danielson. You have done just that. So now the scapegoat has a lot of momentum. What do? You kind of build on it. You continue to build on it. And what's going to happen is, with this victory, the Young Bucks, Jack Perry and Okada, the Elite, they are going to continue to take over AEW until they're confronted once again. Who is going to confront them? We mentioned last week that I feel like Tony Khan will put in an authority figure. And I feel like that's when, the real, yeah. We're not gonna put that. That's where like the real, battle between AEW or the real war. I think this was just a preview of what's to come. This is going to be long term story. And to be honest, like again, this match was incredible, and it sounds cringy, but I want to thank these wrestlers for putting their body on the line, right, to give us this kind of entertainment, because it is a scary thought, even though it is a stunt. The fact that Darby Allin, what he puts his body through, and then Darby Allin setting Jack Perry on fire, And just the whole execution, like, all right, set them on fire, and then the Young Bucks come in with fire extinguishers. It's all about timing and stuff like that. So everything was perfectly executed. And again, this match, in my opinion, had no flaws. I enjoyed every single moment of it.
Yeah,
Agreed.
top to bottom.
Yep,
I
top
have,
to
I have
bottom.
no complaints with this match. This was a fun match through and through. I think you could have gotten a whole lot more out of it had you not, you know, had this match at fucking midnight, essentially.
Yeah.
I think if you started this match off, start take the night off, it might have had enough to keep everybody through.
No. To be honest with you, I'm actually glad they left it for the main event, because I think Swerve and Christian Cage wasn't like an appealing main event to me. I
Yeah.
mean, I thought it was going to be a solid match, but it wasn't truly appealing. You could have, I think, either the Anarchy in the Arena or the Edge match could have closed it out. But the fact that the whole event was like 13 matches, right? I think, or where the main card was 11, you could have cut like one or two matches, right? To just put everything in less time. Because again, by the World Championship match, I was just like already drained. And then again, when the Anarchy in the Arena match started, all right, my blood was pumping again. So it's all about timing and structure, but I think AEW did a tremendous job with this event.
Okay, so what would you give it? I know last night you said an A. I said an A minus.
Um
Now you have a day to think about it.
yeah, I think it kept us entertained. I think it kept us really entertained. So that's why I'm going to give it an A, because we
Okay.
did see returns, and again, we had a lot of memorable moments from that event. So I think it's a solid A. I know I probably could be, criticized for it, but if you looked for, top from start to finish, it was well put together. It was well put together. And listen, as a wrestling fan, you just hope kind of like AEW kind of gains momentum from this,
Capitalize on the opportunity.
especially with MJF's return, right?
Mhm.
I've always I've liked the Undisputed Kingdom, but they haven't done anything with them, right? So
Mhm.
hopefully with MJF back in the fold, they can finally do something with them. This whole the Elite versus Team AEW, that's going to continue, because you already know the Elite is going to continue their takeover on the company. So that's another storyline to watch out for. So, hopefully this, turns things around for them, to be honest with you.
Henry, what do you give it?
B plus.
A B plus?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you said C. I was like, C. That's a big job. C plus. I was like, oh shit.
Nah,
Oh,
B
B plus.
plus. B plus. Just I think overall it was a good card. Obviously, they had some matches that fell flat, crowd reactions and different things, but also just the length of the pay per view is too long and it gets people out of it. So I think that's part of my grading criteria. Well, I would say a B plus.
This is why. Well, I mean, I understand
I
why.
might have been a little generous with that A, but
I said B
it is
plus.
what it is.
I say A minus. But the thing is, like, I'm not complaining about the time frame of how many matches you have, because you have 3 months to build this stuff. If you did what, I mean, in retrospect, I think WWE has too many premium events, because it used to be once a month, every other month. You used to have a lot of good builds. So sometimes stuff is rough. But in the other way, if you have too many premium events for WWE, AEW doesn't have enough. Where you're having every 3 months, every month and a half, every 2.5 months, 3 months. So it's like you have to be if you can get 12 pay-per-views or 10 pay-per-views, I think you're perfectly fine. I think working with 6 or 7 is you're gonna keep stretching stuff a long time going forward. At least there's some points where WWE goes a month with no events, but then you have 2 in 1 month. I think 80 has to go and see what they can do about adding more events where you can have, instead of having 13 matches, you can have 9, you could have 7. I think
I think
7's
that
the best.
I think that's the thing that Warner Brothers Discovery is working on with them now, getting more pay-per-views and
Yeah, 'cause now you
I
make
think
more money.
real quick before we wrap, I think the biggest thing with AEW is like, or with Tony Khan, is that the fact that he wants to put everybody or include everybody into the pay-per-view event.
You can do that.
And but see, that's the thing, you're gonna have nights with like 13, 14 matches, and by like the 7th or 8th match, the fans are gonna be tired.
Well, that's why you got. But at the same time, you have to move things around.
Yeah,
Sometimes
I
you're not
think
gonna
like
get them.
having 9 or 10 matches, all right, that's it. Boom. That's it.
I think 10 would be the most. If it's big stuff like Double or Nothing, All Out, All In, Forbidden Door, then you can have the 10.
Oh,
20.
and then they had the media scrum, which was like another like an hour or two.
So they're getting there at 5:00 for a 7:00 start time to be done by midnight or 12:30, to then be out of there by 2 in the morning. Like, bro, it's a lot. Like if you stretch it out where some people are on, some people are off. Some matches, the Moxie match don't got to be on the cast. You can put those on different premium events, paid events. But who are we? We're just fans talking a whole bunch of shit, speaking our minds. So Tony Khan, if you're watching this, come join our show. We have questions and complaints. Yeah, I might think. But that'll do it for us on part 2 of our podcast today. WWE was part 1. If you haven't caught up with that, the audio is live on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you need for audio wise. You want it, we got it. We have it for you. If you want to listen to it, if you want to watch it, you watch it on YouTube, you watch it on Twitter, you watch it on Twitch, Instagram. We have it going up there. Same thing goes with this episode right now. Audio will be up going soon. You'll listen to this on Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcasts at. You'll have it available very soon. Video, same thing. YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, you name it, we're on that as well. If you want to start your own podcast, like what we have going on now, all you do is start up with an app called the podcast app was once known as Anchor. They have collab with Spotify, so now you use your email, and now you can be just like what we do with our podcast. If you want to promote the podcast, you can use StreamYard the way we do for ours with a small nominal fee. You're able to do that as well and promote wherever you want to promote it. We promote it everywhere. You can do the same thing. If you want to have your library saved for the usage for content, you can use Zoom. Same thing, small nominal fee, and you can take care of business ways. Same thing we do. So that'll do it for us. This storm, I think I'm about to get some rain a little bit. So
yep, we're gonna get it here too. I'm about to
get it. Are you ready?
Yep. And I'm getting rain right now, so
yeah. So
and Henry's about to lose power over there.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, it's been a long weekend for me, so I'm about to go ahead and take my ass upstairs and go get some food.
And then
tonight, you know what I'm saying, Call of Duty come real soon. Like the like our great and immaculate military handle business in the real world. We do it virtually.
I might run some COD with y'all tonight. I haven't ran it in a while.
Rebirth is calling my name.
And as you mentioned, military again. Thank you for the current.
Everything you guys do.
Thank you for the current and fallen troops. May all your sacrifices, be remembered and valued.
Agreed.
Thank you all. To all, a good night. Till next time, fellas.
Later.
Peace out.